Right, everybody, welcome back to episode 2 of 3 of tonight's prediction shows. We go to the undercards of this weekend's action. In Nottingham, the co-main event, we've got Harry Scarff defending his British and Commonwealth welterweight championships against Conah Walker. The three of us have given it the big up now. Watch it be an absolute stinker. But we think this could very well be the fight of the weekend. We're just discussing before we came on how active Conah Walker's been, maybe how inactive Harry Scarff's been since the Karen fight. But look, it's a great fight on paper. You know, Scarff's only lost to, I think Jay said last night, like Troy Williamson, Anthony Fowler, and Karen. You know, that's pretty good company. He's never been stopped. Conah Walker gave Lewis Crocker hell, didn't he, last year? Great performance against Ritson too, and what was a great fight. So, look, stylistically, the matchup's perfect. It should
be. The records are very similar as well. I think Walker's lost to Antwi and one of the Kane Gardner, is it?
Baker, wasn't it?
Kane Baker, sorry.
Sure, it's Kane Gardner.
I thought it was Kane Gardner.
It was one of them.
It's Kane Gardner.
Anyway,
look, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you, Sam. Sorry, man.
No, you're right.
Go on.
It's exciting, mate, and we've given it the big build up. We done it again yesterday on No Punches Pulled. I said it on my show as well. Unless your name is Lawrence Okoli, you'll never see a bad British title scrap. That is the reality. They always deliver time and time again.
Shots fired.
And I predict to seeing it again this weekend because these two men only have a forwards gear. Neither man knows reverse, even when they're hurt. And they'd rather go out metaphorically or literally flat on their face than take a backward step. My concern in this fight for Harry Scarff is, like we've just said, Karen was in May last year. We haven't seen him since. Before that, he had a 7-month layoff from winning the British and Commonwealth against Echo Esserman. So he's had inactivity. In that time, Conah Walker's had 6 or 7 fights, I think it is. Yes, the first couple were only 6-rounders, but in 2024 alone, he done 3 10-rounders. So that's 30 rounds of boxing compared to Scarff's 12 rounds in his defeat. So yes, it doesn't always translate that way in terms of a more active fighter wins a fight. Obviously, Harry Scarff bided his time for this opportunity. I know Jay's busting to cut in, but it is an interesting comparison.
I'm tapping like that, and I realised it looked like I was trying to get in. Yeah. Sorry, man.
It's just an interesting comparison. Conah Walker's so active in, you know, harem scare-on fights all the time, and Harry Scarff, look, the Echo Esserman fight, I think he was a 4-1 underdog in that. Esserman was on a rise, wasn't he? He was Frank Warren's golden boy of around these divisions who he was going to look to push towards European honours. And, you know, Scarff done a job on him that night on the cards. That was, I think, 118, 110 across all 3. It was a pretty convincing win for him. If it comes down to being a 12-round fight and we're basing it on who can outlast the other man across 12 rounds, then that's where you favour Harry Scarff. This is his 4th or 5th 12-rounder. Conah Walker, it's only his 1st. So as good as he's looked across 10 rounds, sometimes the championship rounds can make all the difference, can't they? And that's why I'm leaning towards Harry Scarff. I mean, a 115, 113 either way in this fight would not surprise me at all, but you'd have to favour Harry Scarff in the championship rounds if it's tight.
Yeah. I think I said something similar. I think we spoke about it on No Punches Pulled, and I said, you know, what Conah Walker can do good, which is stay in the pocket and look to exchange punch for punch, is how Harry Scarff boxes. That's what he does. Stays in the pocket, looks to hurt you to the body, goes body head. And I think I said something like, you know, the old analogy, they could fight in a phone box, or you could throw a car tire in the centre of the ring and they had to keep a foot in there and see who comes out first. I know some gyms use that as training for fighting in the pocket. It's used as a training method. I don't think it's good for CTE, but what I'm getting at is Conah Walker can box on the back foot as well, and Harry can to a degree, but he's an all-action fighter, and I just think that he's slightly more experienced at a higher level. You know, Walker's had a few top-level fights. Scarff he's done his apprenticeship at domestic level. He's boxed at a higher level. Yes, he's lost, but he's lost against British champions, former British champions, you know, world-class amateurs, world title challengers. Let's not beat around the bush. Karen gave Jaron Ennis in that rematch one of the toughest fights he's ever had, and we were all dismissing that fight, weren't we? We were all yawning and trolling it as though it were
4 rounds.
A foregone conclusion. But there were points in that fight where he looked like he hurt Jaron Ennis. So Scarff, he's coming off that defeat in terms of we hadn't seen him, but, he's the champion going into this fight. He's comfortable boxing at 12 rounds, win, lose, or draw. I just think he's going to have slightly more, like Liam said, potentially, in the bit that counts, the 6 minutes that he's boxed 5 or 6 times. Doesn't matter how hard you train in the gym. I have seen this firsthand more than once. I've seen guys that have done 15, 16, 17 rounds, 5-minute rounds. It's going to be easy. Look at, I'll give you an example. Bit of a random one, but Conor McGregor, for example, right? He's had a lot of 5-round MMA fights, right? That's 25 minutes. He was blowing out of his ass after 5 rounds against Mayweather. But that's only 15 minutes, 20 minutes if you add the minutes in between rounds. But it's different. It makes a massive difference. Those 6 minutes in the fight, under the lights, the crowd roaring, and you've got somebody sat on your chest, that's when it's going to make a difference. And as I said yesterday, and as I said on my own channel, I think, same as Liam, 115, 113 Scarff, or 116, 112 Scarff, or a late stoppage. But I'm going to go with my initial prediction, which is 115, 113 Harry Scarff.
I couldn't agree more with you. I think
I'll take a breath.
Video earlier. I think I said 7-5 or 8-4 to Scarff. But I do. Walker's going to have moments. It's going to be close, isn't it? It can't not.
We're not dismissed. Listen, it sounds like we're being dismissive of Walker's chances. We're not. It could easily go the other way. But based on what we think we know about the sport and what we've seen and what the past records, I'm leaning towards Scarff just on experience. But I would not be surprised if it went the other way because they are very, very evenly matched. That's why we're so excited about it.
Yeah, the only thing that would surprise me is if either of them, completely dominated the other one to a wide decision or somebody knocked somebody out.
That's not the way this fight is going. Look, I said. People like it when we have different opinions, but I think we're all pretty much on the same hymn sheet here. I've gone 7-5 Harry Scarff. But again, don't dismiss Conah Walker at all because he's shown, especially in the Lewis Crocker fight, he only lost, I said it last night, he only lost to Crocker in the end because of the points deduction in the 9th. That would have been a majority draw, I think, if without the points deduction. And then that's a whole different ballgame. He gets the rematch or maybe he gets the Paddy Donovan opportunity. You see where I'm going with it. So he's a very, very live dog in this fight. And from where his career was 3 or 4 years ago, before he ended up as a B-side on matchroom cards, before now becoming a more regular A-side fighter, he was scrapping around on the small hall circuit, trying to recover from losing a couple of 4 and 6 rounders. This is his world title potentially for Conah Walker. He probably knows that British and Commonwealth and European maybe at a push is his level. And what story it would be going from the small halls and looking down and out. I think he was. After 5 fights, I'm pretty sure he was 2 and 3 or, something like that. He really had it tough at the start of his career. So he will leave it all in the ring on Saturday and never see, I joked about Okoli, but you never ever see a bad British title fight. And this is the first one of the year. So they're going to want to leave the benchmark there. So we're talking about it come the end of 2025 as one of our favourite domestic fights.
Yeah, definitely. So we've all got Scarff in a very tight one. Wouldn't be surprised if it went the other way. But do not miss it because it could probably be the fight of the weekend. I think we're definitely unanimous in that. Luca, thank you very much for tuning in. Won't go into this too much, but it has made me laugh seeing it. I'm sure you boys have seen it as well. We'll leave the show on that one. We'll be back very shortly with the Andy Cruz versus Salcedo prediction and Lawrence Okoli for Fighter of the Year, according to Joe Dyer.
For what?
I don't know.
Piss off, Joe. Piss off, mate. Fucking hell.
That right there is Jay's Fight Talk in his pomp. Right.